Today we're going to have a look at House of the Rising Sun. Stick around. Hello everyone, it's James from Practice Like a Pro, providing you with simple, clear guitar tips to help you on your guitar playing journey. So we're going to have a look at House of the Rising Sun today, and it's basically just one big progression that goes round and round and round. I'm going to take you through the picking part and we'll talk about the strumming later. Let's get into it. Okay, no particular order, the chords for this are A minor, C, D, we've got an E major, and then we've got an F. Now I'm doing what I call little f for this, which is a bar in the first fret of the B and the high E with my index finger. I'm using the second fret of the G with my middle finger, and then the third fret of the D with my ring finger to get this little chord here, because that's what they're doing on the record. You can use the big F bar chord if you want, or the F major 7 to make it more accessible. Do what works for you. So this piece is in 6/8, well, depending on who you ask on Reddit, it's in 6/8 or 12/8. We don't care, we just need to get the basic rhythm of it. And it's a picking pattern that kind of rakes across all the strings. So let me show you this with the A minor chord, and then we'll tag it onto the others. So fretting the full A minor chord, I'm going to strum through the A, the D, the G, the B, and the E like this. Now notice how either side of the A and the E are strummed through these three strings a little bit quicker. Notice how I'm doing downstrokes for the first four and then an upstroke on the last one. What we don't want is, because that's not the rhythm, it's bum ba da dun dun. Once you get to the top, we're going to pick the B string with an upstroke, and then this is really important that a lot of people miss out when they're learning to play this. I don't know whether it's a stylistic thing or just to give the guitarist a sort of leg up to the next chord. On the very last note of each chord, I want you to let go of everything and just pick the open G. So far, we've got A minor. Then we're going to change to C and do exactly the same thing. So glue those together. So that's all fine and dandy because that's over 5 strings. Then when we get to the D chord, a D chord only goes over 4 strings. So what we need to do, you're following the similar pattern, but you're going to pick the high E string twice. Once on the way down and once on the way back up. Still remembering to let go of everything. So I'll glue the first 3 chords together. In the 4th bar we've got the F chord. And this is the little F that I explained before. And I'm going to pick this just the same as the D chord that I've just done. So I'm picking the D string, followed by the G, the B and the high E. And then as I come back up, I'm actually going to miss the B string. I'm going to play that fretted note on the G and then let go of it and pick it again. I'll do it really slowly for you. You'll see the tab on screen as well. Now notice how I'm lifting my middle finger there. You can take the whole chord off if it's easier for you. So the first 4 bars in succession. It'll take you a while to get that F, but really put your energy into it. It'll sound so much better for the time that you put into it, and that's what they're doing on the record. Moving on into the next 4 bars, you've got A minor and C to start. Then we come to an E major chord. Now this, you know how I said earlier, when you're changing between chords, you let go of everything. Well, this time, because there's 2 chords together, I want you to leave the chord planted as you move through the first bar of the E, and then let go at the end of the second bar. So we're going to go. Notice how I only let go at the end once I was ready to change to the next chord. So let's glue those 4 bars together. Okay, so we've got 8 bars now, and you'll see from here it's pretty much just variations of what we've already covered. Once you've got the general gist of it with the A minor, I don't tend to read a tab of this. I just have the chords on a little chart which I sort of move through, which I'll put in at the end of the video. So the first 8 bars we've got. Moving on into the next section, you've got A minor, C, D and F, so it's exactly the same as the first 4 bars. And then when we get into the next section, you've got an A minor and then an E together. Now this bit's really important because once you get to that point, it just kind of loops round and round and round. It's a 24 bar phrase is the whole song. In fact, I'll put a little graphic up now if you want to pause it and have a look at that. Let's have a listen to the whole phrase picked. And the battle really you'd think is the picking, and it's not. It's remembering where you are in the song, because it's House of the Rising Sun's an old like traditional tune, and it's kind of been changed and morphed and moulded over the years depending on who's done it. And everybody that covers it does it ever so slightly differently. So you've just got to bear that in mind, that there is a little bit of work on your end to kind of fudge whatever version you've got to play with somebody else's rendition of it. Another thing to note is the song actually starts halfway through the progression. Well, not quite. There's 7 bars of music before he starts singing. So it starts from the C, and it's basically the last 7 bars of the progression, and then it starts for real. So you're literally going to go around that 24 bar phrase, round and round and round and round, until you get to the end, and then it kind of jumps from an A minor to a D minor chord, and we're just going to do 1 stroke on each. That's what we call a RAL, where it just gradually kind of comes to a stop. One last thing of note is it's either on the 3rd or the 4th time round you've picked that whole 24 bar phrase, is he starts doing strumming depending on whether it's the organ solo or the band's sort of playing a little bit harder. Let me show you that strumming pattern quickly, but you're just going to move through exactly the same chords that we've done with the picking. We're just going to strum it, and the idea is that depending on the gusto the band's playing at, you kind of ping pong between the two. So with each chord you're going to go down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Let me play that for you. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Sounds a bit jerky and a bit weird, but once you speed it up, starts to make a little bit more sense. And I'll leave that entirely up to you. You map out the structure yourself. You're either picking or you're strumming, and it's one of the two, and you always end this tune with just single strokes between A minor and D minor. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. It is a little bit of a confusing one, but you know, take some screenshots or do whatever you need to do to get the music and practice it. And it is really just getting the picking pattern down, then running it with the record, and it'll make a lot more sense. If you like what we do here at Practice Like a Pro, please do consider subscribing. We upload multiple guitar lessons a week. And if you'd like to learn something else, have a look at some of his other videos. Until I see you next time, thank you very much. Keep practicing like a pro. Cheers.